Hi, I'm Bobso, the Elder Weeb,
And I am Red, the bald-headed wonder.
and we are the
The
Anime
Anime
Boys.
Boys.
Anime
Yeah,
Anime
boys!
Boys. And today we got a great show for you. We are covering Saga of Tanya the Evil.
It is
And
very wonderful. It is
it's
it's
great.
really
It's good.
really slow at first, to be honest.
hmm
It
if you haven't seen it, we recommend you do so. If you like child soldiers, war crimes, and magic, then surely you're going to enjoy Saga of Tanya the Evil.
Of course you are.
So
Of
as
course.
you were saying,
Anyway,
Brendan.
the beginning of it was for me was a little bit hard to get into this time. To be honest,
Uh
I had to really dedicate myself to this one for the first
uh
episode. Because
hmm
when we watched it,
um
that first episode, I wasn't sold. I was not
yeah
sold on it.
yeah. And part of it was I've watched it before. I didn't tell Red about what the show is actually going to be about because I didn't want to spoil it because
I knew that it was
it's
war
really
related, and I
yeah,
mean,
and it had
typically,
magic.
I'm not into war related animes, but this had the exception of being part of a world war, which
hmm
was quite in, like quite intriguing to me. I always liked the World War, learning about it in history class and stuff. So going
Yeah,
around the lifeline of this anime, it just got more and more and more complex with the actual plans that they put forth into the actual
yeah,
armies and stuff like that. It was really cool to me. I really liked the
yeah,
mixture of it was basically a really good mixture of actual warfare mixed with behind the scenes strategic implementations.
yeah,
So like
hmm
I thought it was a very good mix, but that first episode, got to tell you, it
yeah.
started off with
So
a bang.
yeah, so like I think we sort of set the scene. So the first episode opens up. You got soldier troops on the ground getting absolutely fucked.
Yes.
It is a war torn like no man land style wasteland of dead trees and just gray and just misery, absolute misery.
Right.
And then and it's sort of like a usual ground battle
Yeah,
in like a World War One style setting. Like it's just people fighting, dying
they're basically just
until
getting bumfucked is what they're getting.
yeah,
The
dude, they're getting fucked until the mages arrive, and this is where the twist comes in, where it's World War One era combat with
dude,
magic,
I
and it's
loved
so
the crazy little jetpack tech that they had.
yeah, they got the little jetpack suits
So
with the
basically, how the
little like
jetpack tech worked is that it run off their magical energy using
yeah,
a stone or a gem that
they
concentrated
call
their
it a
magical
jewel.
power, or a jewel. That's probably the better
hmm
way of putting it. They
Yeah,
used a jewel to concentrate their magical power into the equipment that they use, and it kind of reminded me of the equipment from um, what is it? Attack on Titan, the way that it
yeah,
worked. Except, you don't have all of the gears and the levers. You just have constant flow of magical energy.
yep.
Which brings me to the point they didn't introduce the idea of magic until the end of this episode. Uh,
Uh-huh.
so one of my little notes that I had put in here was that one of the soldiers was, flying up above the sky, and she was using the jetpack. In my
Yeah.
mind, that's smooth sailing, but they land and she's super freaking tired, and I'm just like, in my mind, I'm like, why is she so tired from using a jetpack? That don't make any sense to me.
Yeah.
So the idea of them using their magical energy that expends a lot of energy like physically,
Yeah.
and I didn't
Hmm.
put two and two together yet. So like one of my
Yeah.
notes is literally like, how did she get tired? Literally flying in the sky using a
Yeah.
jetpack.
But also the equipment's probably super heavy. It's probably not very light,
I wouldn't think
even
it's
with
just
magic
stupid
holding
heavy.
it. But
I don't know.
either um, it could be a decent weight, but yeah, just like that mixed with the fact that you're literally like harnessing your own magical energy
But
uh would
anyway,
tire you out. We got introduced to Tanya, who is super fucking cruel.
that's the person that y'all
Little
will be seeing in.
little
Uh, that's basically the one that y'all are seeing in the picture in the background, or
yeah
the pictures in the background. That is Tanya. She is literally
yeah.
how old? Like 6? Like,
I think 12 or 14.
oh, I was off. 12.
Yeah, she's either 12 or 14.
12 or 14, literally fighting in a war, like on the front
Uh-huh.
lines, is what's crazy.
Hey, she gets shit done,
But
and she
that was one thing about this episode that really put me off, was that it was so fast paced and it was introducing so much at one time that
mhm.
I couldn't even come to comprehend what it was about, why it was doing it, why is it just throwing us at these people just willy nilly. So that's what really threw me
Yeah,
off from the first episode.
yeah.
But
I think that
getting,
the main thing is to mainly just introduce you to Tanya and how she operates. And that's like the main thing the
I think
first
it
episode
was
is
too,
seeks to
because that
explore.
scene, the scene where she
It's
lands down and just
yeah,
absolutely shit whips everybody with her
hmm
sniper bullet. Like,
yeah. But speaking of the magic, there's some things about the magic I really like, such as whenever they're firing their your magic enhanced bullets, it's almost the equivalent of like fucking like mortar shots.
uh huh.
Like it's like
It
as if they're
really
just
is.
raining just their own mortar shells from above.
So like
And
it's
then of course,
the the way
oh
that
sorry,
it's used in the anime is that it's regular guns with regular bullets that they
hmm
infused with their own
with
magical
magic,
energy, and it's literally watching like Star Wars little laser guns that they got.
yeah,
It's like watching those, except they're all different colors in the sky, shooting at each other and down at the ground, and
hmm
each one packs a hellacious punch. It's insane.
punch. It's like I like that. Some of the other magic stuff I like is like their shields, and just everything else they use the magic for. The magic is used very well in this series. But speaking of that, we got Tanya doing shit like such as she can enhance her magic with prayers and basically fire off
Yeah.
nukes and
It,
just eviscerate.
it's that's basically how, like Bob Stowe said, she she enhances her power by praying to God.
Her eyes turn from blue to yellow,
It's really
and
sick.
you also
It's
get
got a
extra.
golden.
They
It's
get
got,
extra detail added.
yeah, like it's got a swirly effect in the eyes, and
Just
it's
fucking like clocks and shit, and it's just fucking nuts.
so, as I've made it known in previous episodes, I love art in the sense of eyes. Oh my gosh, dude.
Hmm.
I love eye art in anime. And if you can make it look good, you've got me sold for the animation and the art style. And this one definitely hit what I liked. You know, just the big bulbous perfectly articulated drawing of the eyes that they did in this. Um, so
Yeah.
that was just something I really wanted to pinpoint whenever she did that really awesome fucking attack with her gun that blew up an
Hmm.
entire fucking trench. The swirl in her eyes and the glow, the golden uh ring in her eye. I thought that was absolutely
Hmm.
sick to me. I just thought that was incredibly looking.
Yeah, that
Um,
shit's really good. Is there any other things you have written down?
oh, in the first episode,
Yeah, in the first
definitely.
episode.
So
Yeah.
basically, you
So
um, so so they're basically it goes over to the strategic people doing stuff in the back, like in the background. I also
yeah,
liked in that episode the little chess pieces that they used for the map layout. So,
yeah.
if you really think about it, they use the chess pieces on the board, on the map, to articulate different people.
Hmm.
So, I'm wondering who the pawns are.
Probably just the foot soldiers.
Yeah, but like just to think of your footmen as just pawns
Yeah.
is absolutely
Well, I mean,
barbaric.
in this world, like sure, ground troops are great and all, but like your main power force is going to be your mage squads
Oh yeah,
because they're going to be the ones do it. Like your mage squads and like your artillery fire are going to be like your two big things
oh yeah.
that will actually like change the course of the battle.
So
As we'll see, like a good mage squad can wipe shit out
it really
more
can.
effectively than
Um,
any fucking any like regular ground troops ever could.
yeah.
Uh,
So
but yeah,
mages are just this extra, basically an extra military section that they use for aerial cover. So instead of like mostly
hmm,
planes in this context, they use people. Which don't
yeah,
get me wrong, they still use planes in the war, but you
yeah,
don't see them a lot in this anime in particular. You see a lot
hmm.
of
You only see
mages
them like
flying.
once or
You
twice.
see mages and you see hunters. Uh,
Yep,
so the hunters are the ones riding the horses, using the rifles. And
yeah,
basically, they don't use magical energy. The hunters are just using mechanical floating horses, where the mages
yeah,
are using things that they have to pump their magic into to use. Just to
hmm,
get that straight. That also got introduced in this episode. But,
yeah.
I'm ranting a little bit. I'm not even trying to get your side of it.
Oh no,
What,
oh no, you're good.
but
Um,
what really stuck out for you?
um, some things that sort of talk about sort of go back to the meeting with the strategic meeting with the other strategic commanders. If I remember correctly, they mentioned something along the lines of the situation's not looking good for the empire.
Oh,
Like it
yeah.
is just not, like things aren't looking good. However, those are soon to change with Tanya's shit. Let's see, we got two corporals who disobey Tanya's orders when she told them to pull back
Ooh, yes. I have this written
initially,
down.
and she's like, "Yo, like, all right." First of all, one thing that this episode establishes is Tanya absolutely hates disobedience.
Oh, she
If
absolutely
you're
cannot stand it.
disobedient, if you're a disobedient
You do
soldier,
not
you're
want to
going to get
get.
fucked.
You
You
do not
don't
want to
get
get
on
on
her
her
bad
shit
side.
list. Yeah, you do not want to be on
So
Tanya's shit list.
because of their insubordinates, she offers to send them home, which when she highly encourages them to accept that offer, but they don't. They just said, "No, we want to fight. We're here to fight." And that's when Tanya's like, "All right, that's cool. You guys can go to the back then." And oh man, it was such a nice, offer to give them. Yeah,
Such a
yeah,
nice
yeah. Just
plan.
go chill out and
Well,
just go chill out in this fucking pillbox.
first of all, no, you completely misread the scene.
Yeah,
She
yeah,
gets super pissed. She's like,
she
"So you're
does.
disobeying obeying your commanding officer.
The commanding
That's
officer.
along the lines of fucking death." And she goes to try to actually
Yeah,
stab one of them, and
yeah.
the Tamahiro of this series,
Yeah.
what's her name?
Cerebriakov.
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 She stops her. She says, "Major,"
Yeah,
and Dude says, just she just stops herself and says,
Yeah.
uh, "I'll let this one go, but don't think
Oh, this,
that you are not going to be punished."
yeah. And it's like, oh man, how are they going to be punished? I mean, getting moved to the back doesn't seem like a bad punishment, right? I mean, you get to chill out. Like, no, should the high, low chance of any enemy combatants. Um, it's all good, all good, right?
Oh, dude, yeah.
I hope. Man. But we go from those boys to getting nice shots of just like I said, just no man land, just absolute, just like war torn wasteland. Um, we got things such as Tanya, which when they're going to fight off the enemy hunters, Tanya seems almost considerate of her soldiers, but it's like it's almost like of a selfish point where it's more so for her interest and not the interest of her soldiers.
Exactly. It's more around the lines of
She
making her
is,
look compassionate for her soldiers, for her
yeah,
lineup to get something cushier in the military.
to get that, and also it's like, yeah, I need you guys to have good morale so that you guys don't fucking die on me because
Uh,
that's gonna make my life a whole lot worse.
yeah, dude.
Um,
I'd have to say
uh,
another little tidbit from this episode. Like I said, the first episode covers so much in such little time that it's absolutely mind-boggling to
uh-huh.
try to get your mind wrapped around it. So
Hmm.
basically, so it goes into an actual fight between Tanya and some hunters,
And the
and the
yeah,
hunters try
dude,
to surround her. And this battle is absolutely incredible.
she
Um,
goes fucking nuts.
she does go nuts. So basically, how she does it, this is whoa, absolutely insane. So usually, soldiers or mages can only go up in the sky to about, I think they explained it, about 4 or 5,000 feet.
Yeah, but she
Tanya
can go higher,
go up into close to ten
super high.
thousand meters above ground. It's insanity.
Yeah.
So it shows a scene of
Hmm.
her going up into the clouds, telling them or giving them a chance to back off.
To back off.
And she literally says,
And
"We will let this go, and we'll take you as prisoners of war if you stop now." And nope, they didn't want to do
no,
that. So
that
Tanya had to unleash
they
her shit, dude.
uh-huh.
Dude,
She completely wipes him out with one. He wipes out an entire platoon of hunters
with
with
one
one fucking
fucking
shot,
bullet, dude. That was
and it's enough
crazy.
to cause like an explosion that has like the effect of where it's not only like a big old cloud of just fucking explosion and death, but also it sucks shit in. So if you're not killed by just the fucking explosion, you literally like suffocate to death from the carbon dioxide.
Oh yeah, dude.
And it's like an awful way
It's
to go if you got hit by that shit.
basically it explodes around them, and literally you just see burnt bacon crisps of humans falling to
Uh
the
huh.
ground. It's
Yep.
crazy, dude. It looked
Um,
insane.
and another notable thing in this fight that happened early on, I forgot. Isn't this the fight where she decapitates a guy with her bayonet?
It is. It most definitely is.
Yeah, yeah. That's one of the things that happened. That's one of the things I noted that happened. I was fucking sick as
Yeah,
shit.
she rushes in and just
Um,
fucking beheads somebody with her bayonet.
she, she was able to create a little clone version of herself, like a decoy
Oh yeah.
version of herself. That's pretty great. And another thing I sort of like is that Tanya with these like powers, Tanya is like super calculated, almost on like a fucking like computer level.
It is crazy.
Like the way she processes everything
Dude,
due to
I
the
could
enhancements she can have.
dude, that's insane, dude.
It's But that happens. Another thing I noted is when she's calling for the surrender of all the other enemy ground troops. There's the name for the treaty for the surrender treaty is really fucking sick. They call it the Treaty of Worms,
Oh, dude, yeah,
and
that
such
was.
a sick fucking name for a treaty.
It is a sick name for a treaty, dude. So,
Hmm.
another thing with this episode was the the protection spells. I love how they look.
Hmm.
So basically, whenever
Yeah.
they can block bullets using a protective outer shell, basically, and
Yep.
essentially it's something that they have to catch or see coming or sense coming for them to be able to stop it.
Yep.
But basically, it creates like a half broken eggshell type look to it unless it's a huge attack.
Hmm.
And if it's a huge attack, it goes all the way around them. But it only
Yeah.
segments certain parts where it hits. And I thought that was really
Hmm.
cool how the patterns looked on it and how everything was just like puzzle piece looking. Um,
Yeah. It's got like a honeycomb sort of look to it
it
almost.
does a little bit, and just at the same time, it's got that little where it looks like something got broke, and it's you could just literally
Yeah.
pick it up. It's like a piece of glass, uh, just because it's in that one spot. I thought that was really
Yeah.
really cool. But
But
the episode
the entire.
essentially ends with those guys getting murdered in the back lines.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah. The corporals who disobeyed Tanya are reported to be dead because their pillbox got hit by enemy artillery fire,
And
and
Seb-
and
Sebrakov.
that's Serebriakov.
So,
She's like, "Oh, you didn't send them out to die, did you?" And then you just got this just fucking shit eating grin from Tanya after she hears the news.
well, no, she knew about
Of,
it. It was like,
she knew about it, yeah. Well, I know. It's like after just hearing the confirmation of it happening,
yeah, it's like,
like she knew when she was sending them she was sending them to the back. She knew that they are more than likely going to die.
oh, definitely. She knew that. That's why she did it.
Yeah,
So that's what
yeah,
I guess
yeah,
that's what we got as punishment.
yeah.
But
It's just death is your punishment.
uh, anyway, is there anything else you want to cover from this
Um,
episode itself?
there's some. So there's one more notable thing that's I believe it ends with the scene of Rogan and them at the table, and he's talking about this Tanya. Like they're talking about how fucking terrifying Tanya is.
Oh, that's
Now
right.
she has the nickname the Devil in the Rhine, and it was
Yes.
has I believe her nickname is White Silver because she was the first like youngest person to receive a Silver Wings medal.
Yeah, but that's covered in
Yeah,
the next
but yeah,
episode. But
yeah, but
she's
yeah,
also known
she
as the Fairy of the Battlefield.
the fairy of the battlefield. But yeah, she absolutely even it's like she's so fucking terrifying. Even some of the fucking of like your of her allies
Right.
are shit scared of her.
And let me remind you, this is a 14-year-old girl.
Just a 14-year-old girl. You could probably pick her up.
Literally throw. I don't think you could. I
Because
really don't think you
she's
could.
super small.
You could
Nah,
try.
you could try, but I think she has such an intense aura. It's be like, oh man, if I do this, I don't think I'm gonna make it.
Right, right.
Um, but
But let's get into the absolute
to
fucking drug trip of an episode of
yeah,
episode 2.
episode two. So this is the episode that hooked me, and I'm sure it's also the episode that hooked you, Red.
Most definitely did because it went from me
We
not
opened.
being interested at all to seeing this and being fully invested. Uh, because after the first
Mhm.
episode, I was thinking about just not watching it and covering a different one for for our next episode. But
Yeah,
I gave it another chance. I
I I
watched.
I let them know like, yo, like just you wait till we
Yeah,
get to this second episode.
yeah. Bob Stowe was just like, just
There's
wait,
some
just watch it, just
there's
watch
just
this next
there's some
episode.
good shit.
And I'm like, okay, all
Just
right.
you wait.
So we covered the
We
second
get, we get
episode, and
so It's great. It's good.
It's
So how
not.
does this episode open, Red?
Oh my gosh! It opens up in literally the year 2022, not
2013.
1935. No, it
No,
wasn't. It was 20.
2013.
It was 2022. What was it?
2013. It's just 2013.
Are you sure?
I am sure. 2013.
Okie dokie. We'll go with what you said.
Yeah.
Um, I think. Anyway.
Yeah. 2013
Anyway,
Tokyo.
so they're in Tokyo in 2013. Um,
Just modern day Tokyo,
modern day
basically.
Tokyo with technology, businesses, stuff like that. Where in the first episode you were back in 1935. Um,
Actually, I think it's like
no,
1920s.
it
I
was
want to
19. It
say
was
that's what most of the
1930s. It was covered between the 1920s into the 1930s.
yeah.
That's what that era was. But
I
either
see.
way,
But
um,
yeah.
2013 modern Tokyo. It started off as this businessman. So it goes from a little
Yeah.
girl fucking shit up out of nowhere to a businessman in
To a
Tokyo
businessman who's firing
who's
somebody,
firing somebody. It's
and it's
and
very and through his opening monologue, he is very cutthroat. He's almost like the way I'd imagine it is this guy is like Nanami from Jujutsu Kaisen if he did not become a Jujutsu sorcerer again and just became full on businessman
yeah, that's a
and just
good
lost his way,
good
like and just
yeah,
lost his way
that's a good outlook on that one.
because this guy has similar sentiments to Nanami, but doesn't isn't nearly as caring as Nanami is.
Yeah, he does not care
Like,
one bit. He believes in
yeah,
business and good business. He doesn't care
yeah,
about anybody but himself and moving up. He cares about the
uh,
company that he works for, and that's it. So basically, he
uh,
it cuts to him literally firing a guy. Man's begging for his job, but this dude on the inside just like, you never put towards the effort. You called in all of these days. You never tried to once think of the company. Uh, and he's just like, I don't give a shit about your problems. Just get out of my sight. I don't like you. I don't care about
uh,
you. Get out. Pack up
yeah.
your things. And this man's like, I have a family. And he's just like, I don't care.
It's
Goodbye.
like I don't care. The
You're a
don't let the door
liability.
hit you on the way out.
Yeah, you're a
You're like
liability. Get out.
fucking. You can go. Just leave. And then so our man is he's going to the train station,
Oh, yeah.
and that's when
He gets a
the
taste of his
guy
own
he fired
medicine.
comes followed him, and fucking pushes him over. And even when this guy is facing like just near death, he's just thinking to himself, man, that just shows how weak this
Yeah.
guy is. He sought revenge.
Well, no, it's
I,
like,
I, I wouldn't have sought. I wouldn't have pushed. If I got fired, I wouldn't have done this.
yeah, he's just like, that's
Yeah,
why humans think so.
yeah,
This is why I hate emotions. It's basically what he
yeah.
said. Humans use it to
Basically,
leverage what sense should be made. And
yeah.
good
And
sense was not
then
used. He pushed a man in front of a train.
yeah, and then right before he hits the fucking tracks, time fucking stops,
Just stops.
and
It's like there's water
the
droplets.
sequence, the
Like,
rain freezes,
oh,
everything just stops,
everything.
and it's got this cool like blue filter over it.
It's really pretty. It's like the whole scene is really,
Mhm.
really pretty. Um, and then it cuts into my main man, the pigeon overlord,
Being X,
being X.
as he
So
talks about how it basically talks about he basically just shit talking humans and how they think they're exempt from certain things because of what they were able to accomplish.
no, no, it's not that God is talking like that.
That's
He is literally telling
that's what
this
it's like.
man that he's showing that this man is basically what he was doing, how he didn't
Yeah,
make a very good impact on the community. Basic, bullshit. And
yep,
so this man's just like, what? You expect me to believe in God? Literally going
God.
through the
It's
worst
like,
drug
are you
trip
supposed
of
to be
his
God?
fucking existence.
Uh-huh.
Stopped
He takes it pretty. He
time.
takes this. He takes meeting God pretty well. I'm just gonna say, like, or meeting a being that is as like the power of like a god.
He
He
literally
is.
just
He's just like he could care less. He's like, oh man, stop boring me with these fucking platitudes, man. What? It's like one neat thing I like is that he's like, I suppose you're God, and I forgot what being X says. And then when he replies with, actually, no, I think you're more like the devil, is
yeah,
what he is one
it's
thing that our main guy says
yeah, because
that I always
he
found
basically
really,
was talking about all the fathom, all of the things that are being done wrong, all of the people that he's
yeah,
ignoring. He's like, why would a god let this happen? I don't believe in
yeah,
you as a god. I believe you as in a being X who is
yeah.
overseeing all of our actions and just using us as your
Clear,
play
clear,
toys.
clearly, this man uses Reddit.
Yeah, clearly this man is very,
This
very
man went on
cultured.
RA. he's, he's very cultured. Um, but the thing I like about this scene with being X as well is he's constantly just going back and forth between different people. So it's like a pigeon. It was one of them. A baby, a woman,
Yeah, it was just like he was
and
taking
it's just
different fragments of people and talking through
yeah,
them. Like, I don't understand why he
talking
was
through them.
using such a big flex. He could have just talked with one person. But,
Man, you gotta use your power. Show them what you can manifest and whatnot.
dude's just
Um,
straight up dissing God.
he's just dissing him. It's like, and also either way, with what all we're with modern human ingenuity and comfort, well, why would I even need to worship a god and stuff like this? And then that's when being X is like, huh. So if you were to live somewhere without comfort, would you be different? Would you have more faith? And he's
Yeah,
like, well,
so
that's not what I was saying. And then being X is like, yo, normally you wouldn't be reincarnated, but I'm gonna do you a favor.
yeah, he's just like, you know what? I want to do a
I,
project. Like,
I want to. This is my little experiment.
so
I hope you
before
enjoy it.
before we move into the next scene, I want to discuss like a segment of this scene that I really liked, and that was
Yeah.
the entire time that we were discussing the businessman. Through the whole scene, his eyes were not shown until
Uh,
a tiny little sliver right before he got hit by the train.
about the train.
That
Yeah.
was really, really cool to
Uh-huh.
me, which makes you which it's slung you into the eyes of the baby that is Tanya.
Uh-huh.
So that is an amazing little transition to me. I thought that was incredible.
Mm-hmm. Where yeah.
But so
But yeah,
basically, all
that's
of this, forth coming bullshit that we were seeing in episode 2 at the very beginning was nothing but a lineup and a backstory to who Tanya the Evil actually is. And God being X permits her all of his past memories of being a businessman in Tokyo. So being
mhm.
X not only reincarnated someone who shouldn't have been reincarnated, but
Yeah.
gave him all of his past memories on top of that, just to get this
Yeah.
man to believe in him.
It's like, just well, it's not just believe it, it's just like basically accept them. That's the main thing, is accepting being X as a god.
Dude, it like
And it's great. And
she
the links we will discuss in which being X will go
dude,
is fucking
it's incredible.
great. It's great. But anyways, this world that our main guy, who we'll now just refer to as Tanya, is born into is extremely fucked. Is in the middle of a horrible fucking war. The world is extremely divided between poor and rich. And considering she's in like an orphanage, it's like she's like basically slums is where she like mainly
It's like
started
a
off in.
it's like a war torn aristocratic era.
Uh
If I had to describe it in a better way, but it cuts
huh.
over to Tanya being raised in a nunnery, um, but
Um,
he takes this opportunity to show that she can live any life that she wants to without God.
yeah,
uh,
that's it's like throughout this entire series, she is determined to like, yeah, I'm just going to try and live the best life I can without having to acknowledge being X,
right.
and that's where the first sort of issue arises with Tanya. Well, I would say like first issue, but it'll turn into an issue later on, and that is for someone as young as she is born extremely gifted with magic.
Yeah, extreme.
When
She
they
has
were
an
one
extreme
day
aptitude
when they
for
were
it.
testing her, when one day when they were testing her, she was like doing like she was like not only interacting with the main machine that was testing her, but she was like lifting other shit around her.
Yeah, it was
Because so
crazy.
she's like has like crazy
Just
magical
magical power.
aptitude.
Yeah, magical aptitude is
And then Tanya decides to make what might be her best or worst decision, depending on how the rest of the series goes. And as she decides, you know what, I want to join the war effort with my because she wants to go and get a high rank, and so that way when she retires, she can live a comfortable life
yeah, comfortable and very cushy life.
and a very cushy life. And she feels that's like the best way she can spite being X.
And to be fair, she did.
Mm-hmm. And
um,
she did.
she
Um,
in the next few scenes, it's just a collage of Tanya training, flexing on
yeah,
them failing nerds. Uh,
yeah, punishing a fucking punishing a new recruit that she's put in charge of training by
holy
fucking knocking his
shit!
ass through a wall
Yeah, they're
and then
like
threatening to kill him.
so all the failing students get put together in one squad or battalion or whatever you want to call it. Um,
Yeah.
and they introduce Tanya as their trainer because she's showing such improvement in their regular training that they put her over
Mm-hmm.
the task of training the failing students. And all the students are like,
Yep.
"Oh, this is gonna be easy. Oh, this is
Oh,
gonna be
it's a
an
fucking
easy
kid.
A."
She's. I think she's about the age of my sister.
Yeah,
As I
they're
think
like, and
one of
they're
them
all
says.
laughing at her. And then it cuts to her literally fucking blowing this man through a fucking brick wall down to like, I guess it's like a
Mm-hmm.
3-story fall.
Yeah. She he gets knocked fucking far.
And
Um.
she's
But
about to kill this man. She really
that
was.
is that's also the inciting incident that causes Rarigan to be completely just fucking pants shittingly scared of her.
But to be fair, I would too if I saw a man get
If
obliterated through a fucking brick wall, like by a little
by a
14-year
child,
old girl.
by a child.
That would scare the shit out of me too, I would
Yeah.
say.
Uh huh.
Um, so the one thing I wanted to cover about this episode, this is where I started noticing some of the background art, and it has
Yeah,
some really awesome paint
dude.
aspects to it.
I fucking I love like all the backgrounds are really good
Yeah,
for all
cause
everything from your imperial city. It's all nice and like
mm-hmm,
when you think of an imperial city, like it just that's what you'd probably think of is like the main capital. We got some cool shot. We get constantly throughout the series. We got the cool ass shots of the imperial like double headed dragon gargoyles,
mm-hmm, it looks
the stone fucking double headed dragons.
oh dude, yeah, it's
That
really
shit
really good.
is like great.
That was one thing I actually wanted to talk about was the banners of each
Dude, the banners are so good.
the banners were done very very well when it comes to
Uh,
the troops. Um, but basically, Tanya is using the army are treating the army like a business in a sense. To be fair, an army is kind of like a business, but Tanya's using
Hmm.
it as a means of leveling up. Another sense. She just wants to get a high rank in a strategic HQ and sit cushy eating food all day like they really do in strategic
Yeah,
HQ. Uh,
yeah.
and
She's just like, man,
another
sorry.
thing, they covered another fight, and he introduces one of the main villain, or I wouldn't say villains, but the antagonists of the
Yeah,
story.
yeah. One of the yeah, good old
Sue,
ensign Sue,
Sue.
and Sue's pretty cool. I love Sue. He's a great
He's
like
a great guy. To
antagonist.
be fair, Sue is just a great guy.
Hmm.
He's just fighting for his family, but he's the
Yeah.
antagonist of the story. So they find
Yep.
Tanya overseeing. She literally gets promoted mid fight. By the way, this woman is like shooting
Yep.
people on the ground, and then in the middle of the fight, uh, they call her over intercoms and say, "Tanya, you've been promoted to some overseer or something." And she literally just
Yeah.
immediately swaps into doing that, like a click of the fucking pen,
Yep.
dude. She just
Uh.
starts. So she
Yeah.
starts observing all of the stuff that the men are doing, so that they can, unite and attack. And then during this is where Sue comes in, and his little
They.
company that he brought with him. They
Yeah.
start attacking Tanya.
They get
Um,
fucking ambushed. Like she was not
she was not
expecting these
expecting it at
fuckers to
all.
show up. Which
Um,
actually, speaking before that, there's one thing I noted that sort of adds to and emphasizes Tanya's cruelty, and that is she's up there. The scene starting off with her just shelling foot troops,
yeah,
and she makes a remark of how they basically deserve to die for trying to cross the border unprepared.
right, exactly.
And that's where we get into the implication that the foot troops were probably actually there more for a diversion, so that the Sioux squad can come in undetected.
Maybe, and then that's why they
Maybe.
saw uh, her. The problem is that it was
Mm-hmm.
her that they found.
It's her that they found. And
um,
even though Tanya's not at her full potential yet, when she's back into her quarter, she decides to go, you know what? Fuck it.
oh,
I'm
dude,
unprepared for this. I can't retreat. They'll kill me if I try retreating.
she
Um,
literally compares because she calls in for backup, and they said that it was going to
yeah,
be like 2 minutes, and then
2 minutes.
she's like, I could literally make ramen, sit
Make
down and eat
ramen.
it in the time that it takes them to come help me. So
Uh,
she's in the middle of fucking battle, and she compares the
yeah.
situation to eating ramen. I thought that was incredible.
Well, that's another thing about Tanya's characterization I like is that there's sometimes she'll use modern day lingo sometimes, even though other people would not understand it.
Yeah, it is. That's just because
Um,
she has all of her
or like
past
because
memories.
she has all of her past memories. But she is doing crazy ass shit, shooting people, dashing through, just going absolutely fucking ballistic, and then she fucking runs out of ammo. And they're
Oh
like, "Oh
yeah.
man, that's great. And she's out of ammo. It's all good, right?"
At this
And that's
point,
when she
she's
grabs on the
yeah, she's fucking freaking
on
out.
one of them. Yeah, and she's like,
Um,
"Well, fuck it. If I'm gonna die here, I might as well go out in the fucking blaze of glory."
at this point in time, that transition, she used her fear to turn herself into a fucking psychopath. Her eyes get
Yeah.
real big. You see the evil
Uh
intent
huh.
behind her eyes, and she literally
Hmm.
rushes a man and spearheads him off
Yeah.
of this mechanical horse,
Sphere.
dude.
It's just fucking fighting for her fucking life, and then as soon as she runs out of ammo, she goes, "You know what? Fuck it." Grabs the nearest dude. Tell tells them that she doesn't need ammo, and then fucking suicide
Yeah,
bombs
she
by
literally turns into a fucking
by
Pokemon.
overloading. she overloads her jewel so it fucking explodes.
She literally fucking turns into a Pokemon. She used self
Uh huh.
destruct.
Yeah. Um, another one thing I like about the scene is the implication. This is one of the early bits of where Being X might have had a hand in this entire situation going the way it did,
Could be, but to
where
be fair, he has
it
not
could
been introduced yet. Um,
kind of, but it's just like for like the first like a major like one of her first outings to just go super horribly wrong and have it end up with her almost dying.
mm-hmm.
At least like I think could be like a just like not like it's just a small lesson into what she could be in for. I think might be something that
So
could
basically,
be possible.
yeah. So basically, she uses this
Yeah.
opportunity to blow herself up to make her look good. She gets this
Yep.
awesome medal so that
Yeah.
that way she can retire cushy back at
She's
home.
hoping she'll get discharged.
And
Sorry,
it didn't play
but
out right.
oh no. Fate had other plans for her.
So they're all treating her like a
And
war
that's
hero. She literally gets a medal for being like what was it, the fly
yeah,
rep or
that's
something,
it's like this the Silver Wings, I think is what it was called.
right?
Yeah,
So
but
I
yeah,
don't
she's
know.
like, oh man,
I don't.
this act of martyrdom. Oh,
Go ahead. Go ahead.
no, I say no. It's just like this act of martyrdom might make me like since I survived, I could be like a war hero and martyrized and like get discharged early and fucking go live my life comfortably.
Right, because
But then there's other plans are made for her.
nope. She literally gets
So
she gets called.
that's where episodes.
Uh, I have something
Uh,
here at the end of my notes on episode 2. You might know what I'm talking about. It says Weird
yeah,
Man showed up at the end.
I'm trying to think.
Honestly, I don't remember it,
Uh,
but I guess it's not
I don't know.
important.
I think one of the commanding people showed up and was taught. I
Mm,
think that might be one of them, but I forgot which one it might be. But that's where episode two ends. And actually, I forgot we forgot to talk about it. But in this episode, we got the Actually, no, the opening doesn't play in this episode. Never mind.
yeah, that's not this
But
episode.
it does. But it does the next episode.
No, it doesn't.
And oh man, I guess no, it doesn't. Not episode three.
Not episode 3. Oh, no, yeah. Okay, I have it right here.
Mhm.
It is episode
Yeah,
3.
yeah,
Okay, so yeah,
yeah. And the fucking the you want to get the opening out of the way because dude, the opening's really fucking good.
oh, dude, the opening was insane on this one. This was which
Uh-huh.
they hadn't shown an opening yet for the show. This was
Yeah.
the first opening that they've done, and it's on episode 3. And it's
Hmm.
incredible. I'd have to say it really depicted everything in the future of the anime very well
Yeah.
without giving away everything. It introduced all the characters. It
Hmm.
introduced uh, Nut. Uh,
No, the Studio Nut, which is the studio
Nut.
that made this anime, and
Yeah, but it's really
in my
funny.
research for this series, this was their first anime.
That's actually really incredible that this was their first anime. Just putting it out there.
Uh-huh.
Um, it's really, really well
But yeah.
done for a very first anime. But
Mhm.
anyway, it starts off with the episode of Tanya getting redeployed to the rear lines. Um,
Yeah, it's all safe. Thankfully, the brass here in the Empire aren't like too bad people. They think it'd be bad for appearances to immediately put her back on the front lines.
exactly. So
So
she gets teamed up with one of my favorite characters, and that is
Doctor fucking Shuble.
yeah, that dude's fucking the mad lad. I fucking love
Ah,
him.
dude.
So
I
basically,
like.
it starts off the episode of her getting redeployed to the rear lines and testing new equipment, but she immediately gets blown up by the prototype equipment.
By the core because basically her job entails her testing out various different cores
Uh huh.
and
And
for jewels. And
exactly.
for whatever reason the doctor here is a madman, and no matter which ones she tests out, they just blow up.
every single time.
constantly.
And this was the funny part on this episode. She gets blown up several times. And then it
Uh,
gets into with her landing. She's like, I'm done. And it just does a time lapse of the same
of
argument.
of yeah, of the doctor arguing with her, and she's like, your work is crap. Like he just makes something that doesn't blow up, and the dude is like, you just don't respect my brilliance,
He's
and it's
like, the
just
science
ranting
is
and
all there
raving.
so that apparently the error is in the human.
Yeah.
Or the user,
Um,
or whatever it was.
Another thing I noted is in the episode, in the little montage of her getting blown up by the cores.
Oh,
When
dude.
as the doctor is yelling, he's grabbing his assistant's head and just shaking it around in his fury.
I never noticed that, dude.
Yeah, yeah. When he's yelling over her, over yelling into the intercom, he's grabbing his
Dude.
fucking assistant's head and just fucking shaking it around.
Right. So after Tanya gets blown up
Yeah,
like several thousand times, she finally gets done with it, sends in a letter for redeployment to the front lines. She does not want to do
yeah,
this anymore. And that's when we it gets reintroduced to Being X.
yeah.
Being X comes back, and Being X is just like, hey, so you notice how crappy your life is? And she's like, no, not really. I'm living pretty good.
No, I'm looking pretty good. How about yourself, man? You must be pretty mad
Yeah,
that
dude.
I'm not. And he's like, oh man, but just you wait. The best has yet to come.
So she's just
Other
like dissing him some more, and God's like, you know what?
to,
I've had it with your attitude. Have this really incredibly awesome fucking power that you can use at any time.
yeah, yeah. Your
But
powers can be, but your ass is gonna have to pray.
so he gives her this super insane power, which is what we were talking about in the first episode.
Hmm.
Of the golden ring around her eyes, she can use enhanced compressed magical energy
Yeah,
by praying to God. But
yeah.
that's the only way she can use it,
But
and she hates it.
uh, one thing I like is being X comes to her in the form of a nutcracker
That is
in the scene.
incredible.
Um, Another thing I wanted to mention is that as she's disrespecting the poor doctor's work, she fucking roasts him with Murphy's Law, and he's just like, "What kind of idiot would come up with a law like that?" It's what the
Yeah,
doctor says.
she's like, have
She's
you
like,
ever
"Yeah,
heard
what?
it? It's an old philosophy. She's what she said.
Yeah, it's just an old philosophy." He's like, "Whoever came with that's a fucking idiot."
I love it,
Um,
dude. But
but
anyway, so he gives her this really cool fucking power, and then the next day comes around,
they,
and
uh,
she does get
the
the letter.
doctor,
She does get the letter approved for the transfer, but she's doing one
yeah,
last takeoff for the
one
doctor.
last test. In the doctor, something seems to have changed in the doctor.
Oh, something definitely changed in
He
the
is
doctor.
he is and he is very very confident about this next test.
Oh,
And
dude.
Tanya's like, oh well, it'll probably just go
So let's
like how
just
the other ones usually go.
yeah. So let's just add that
And
the doctor he goes from being an atheist
yeah,
to believing in God because
he has received a divine inspiration.
Being X went to
And
him the same night that he went to Tanya.
yeah, and she gave him the fuck he gave the doctor the idea of, yo, here's a really really good jewel idea,
Oh
you
my
should make it.
gosh. So he makes this
And he is
jewel,
like,
and the only person that could freaking use it is
is
Tanya.
Tanya. It is custom made for her.
And
And
so
so she puts it
basically,
on.
go ahead. You go ahead.
I said, so she puts it on and starts to take off. And as she's getting higher, what happens? So the jewel starts to overload like usual. However, it is reaching almost critical mass levels of. It's not overloading like a normal one does.
This one's
It
becoming,
is building. It
yeah,
is becoming something that could wipe out the fucking base.
yeah, like
Is how
it's a
catastrophic of an
nuke.
explosion.
Basically, what it is a nuke.
Yeah.
So Tanya's like, I'm finna purge all of my magic energy. I'm done. I'm not doing this. I'm not finna die for this. And the doctor's like, haha, you can't.
You can't. One thing I love is the doctor exclaims Deus lo volt. He has become 100. He is a fanatic. He is gone. He is now not only a gifted scientist, but now he's a gifted scientist who is a firm, almost mad believer
In God, yeah,
in,
it's
in being next.
being
And
God.
it's great. He is just yelling, constantly just yelling over the mic, and
He's talking in
it's great.
prayer and divine intervention and
Uh,
um
um,
basically it ended with God being the bad guy. God
yeah,
is the bad guy
or at
of the
least whatever,
series.
whatever kind of god being X is, because we're unsure if it's just him. There could be other
There
gods,
could be
but being X in particular is very petty,
very petty.
extremely petty.
He is so focused on turning Tanya that
Yeah.
it's insane. And we'll get more into it the further we go
Uh
in.
huh.
But
Oh, there's one more thing. As one thing I forgot to mention about that is, but before this, because of Tanya's complaints, the doctor's funding got cut. However, this allowed him to like just focus on his more dangerous experiments that wouldn't get approved.
right, exactly. He
Um, and but yeah, but anyways, force overloading, the safety fails on it. And basically Tanya is given one choice. She could either pray or she's gonna fucking die along with everybody else on this small island.
exactly, dude.
She's going
Uh
to explode.
so basically she prays to save the island, basically herself in
Yeah,
general.
and
She
she's
didn't
pretty to
really give a
save
she
herself.
don't really give a shit about
Even
everybody
being
else.
X even yeah, being X even stops time to tell her, hey, all you gotta do is pray. That's all you gotta do. And so she lets out a prayer, and that's when we get the yellow eyes, and
Just absolute incredible
the
looking
power is
transition.
not just like the core not only just stabilizes, but the power of it's fully enhanced by the prayer.
Yeah, it's really really
And
nice.
that's one thing I fucking love about one of the concepts I love is that the idea of in order to be able to properly utilize her power, she has to pray. And it's such a cool like stylistic choice for having a character. It's almost like a cleric style thing, but more useful than like a cleric would normally be.
Oh yeah,
And
yeah.
like Arctic instances, like a war cleric almost. And
It really
it's
gives a
fucking
new it really gives a new concept to magic or magic users
yep.
in this anime, and that's what I really really like about it. Magic is used solely for military purposes.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
The
there's like almost no other use that it has so far that we've seen in this series. Like almost
exactly.
everybody uses it in the war effort.
Which I mean, I'm sure there are
Um,
some other uses, but it's not
yeah.
told about in the anime. Um,
This one thing I also like is whenever she does pray, she's the first thing she realizes is, "Damn it! Did he make me pray?" She is mad at the fact that being X slightly bested her in that
exactly.
regard. That she actually ended up praying.
But
Um,
anyway, it gets to the end of this episode where she goes back to the front lines and she gets teamed up with
uh,
this is it cuts back to where it
Sure,
was. It picks up back from where
yeah,
episode 1 left off. and basically they're
Yeah.
trying to win this section of their plan.
Of
Uh, so
yeah.
basically, she teams up with Serebrakov. Uh,
Yeah.
sorry, I'm never gonna get that name right. So everybody who's listening, just ignore what I say
Hmm.
sometimes because I'm just gonna say whatever. Um, I like this part because it finally ends up with them winning the battle. Um, but it shows
Um.
some of Tanya's good side. Uh,
Yes.
Serebrakov is laying on a
Serebryakov.
table, laying on a table, expressing how she just wants a warm bed and a nice meal to eat. And
A nice meal.
Tanya pops up. She's like, "No, I'm just joking, ma'am. I enjoy eating enjoy eating swill on the
Yeah.
battlefield." And
Uh-huh.
so Tanya sits down, looks at her. Serebrakov is fucking terrified of what she's about to do to her. And Tanya gives her a file for promotion to lieutenant.
To no, officer. She
Is
becomes
it
an officer.
is it officer?
It's for yeah, it's officer.
Okay,
No,
well
what you're
officer.
thinking of is Tanya herself gets promoted to first lieutenant.
That's what it was.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's what it is.
Okay, my bad.
But
But
yeah, no, Serebryakov gets a recommendation from Tanya to become part of the officer track.
exactly. And
And at first, Serebryakov fucking scared. She's like, "Oh no, you're not going to send me to like a pillbox or anything, are you?"
yeah, she's super scared of what Tanya's gonna do to her. And she's
Uh huh.
like, "This isn't gonna put me in a pillbox. It's gonna get exploded, right?"
And Tanya doesn't even try to comfort her. She just walks away.
Right. So, and this
Yeah.
introduces us to one of the other characters. I think it's one of the ones that is he constantly pops up, but in very small sections, and that's the what's his name? Where is it?
Uh,
We were just talking about him earlier. Um,
uh, was it Rarigan?
no. The guy that she meets in the coffee shop.
Oh, Uger.
Yuger, that's his name.
Uger.
Um,
Yeah, 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 yeah.
So she meets up with Yuger at the end of this. She's waiting for a train, and
Yeah.
she gets promoted to lieutenant, first lieutenant.
uh, the first lieutenant, and she has to report to the college in order to
Yeah,
get the education required
yes.
for her job.
So she goes back
And
and goes to the academy, and that's where we get the most
to episode
beautiful.
4,
No. The most beautiful outro
yeah,
ever. Dude, that
yeah,
outro was
man, that shit's really good.
insane. That intro was so good. Oh,
Hmm.
it showed
And the
little
outro is really
pictures.
good
Yeah, it
too.
just showed different pictures of Tanya, but in like different art
Hmm.
formations and like basically her being in, I guess you could say, strip teases and shit. It was really weird in a different sense, but the art was really
Yeah,
solid, and I really loved how it
yeah,
flowed together, and I liked it a lot. But that leads us into episode 4, which
yeah.
four
That
ep-
is
episode
it's.
4 wasn't all that exciting. It was just a bunch of
Mhm.
politics for the most part.
Yeah.
Um, so I feel like it
Um,
would be better to just discuss the little things that happened, like
yeah. So Tanya is absolutely slaying campus life. She is fucking acing
all of her classes.
everything.
Uh,
She is a model student, and always know like always gives the right answers. Even adds on to certain other answers. So there's one where it's like I think it's like if something were who would be held like responsible. I forgot what the specific question was or the specific scenario, but it's basically like a legal dispute of like
it was a legal dispute between
um
who would be held responsible, the soldiers or the officer,
responsible,
in a
and
war
she
crime.
gives In a war crime, yeah, and she gives both an answer for if a commanding officer is present or not.
Exactly.
And that's really cool. Tanya cleans her gun in the
That
classroom.
that's what I was gonna say. The really cool
Yeah,
rifle cleaning scene, and the reason she
yeah,
keeps it so clean and on the ready is
uh
because
huh,
she's waiting for being X to reappear so she can shoot him.
yeah. She's too small to reach the fucking bookshelves. To reach some of the
Oh,
higher shelves, like
and
this one
that
scene
that brings us to the introduction of
of
her
Zator.
meeting of Zator. Zator finds
Yeah,
her and sees a book that she's grabbing and says that it's a strategic classic, um,
hmm,
and asks for her to meet him um, to talk strategy. Just
yeah. And then basically he asks her opinion about like the war and whatnot, and Tanya goes on to tell him about how there could be a possibility that a world war might break out if they are way too aggressive on their assault.
yeah, pretty much. And
And
uh,
pretty much,
she basically gave the outreach of what's going to happen in the
hmm,
future. So basically, the
yeah,
world, like she depicted a world war, and she come up with all of
where
these really cool ways of defending themselves. She come up with one of her one of her ideas was the battalion,
hmm,
the fairy battalion, or whatever it was called.
yeah,
But it's just basically a member of 45 member battalion of mages who would
of
float around
mages.
and take out enemies.
Hmm. And I love how this entire time she's just trying her best to try to bullshit, like give the best answer possible, so she can try to avoid being put on the front lines again.
Right.
She is constantly like put into like she asked hard question after hard question,
Yeah, and
and
she
is just
just
trying her
keeps.
best
Yeah, she's trying her best to answer them
to
in a respectful
answer
and a
in a
very
respectful
smart
way.
way. In a very smart
Yes.
way. So basically, the general is just using this meaning to break apart her brain and get more ideas on what tactics he should use. And
And little does she know the what she tells Zator here is gonna bite her in the fucking ass
so with this meeting,
majorly.
it cuts to a little scene that I really do want to cover, and that is the part where she's talking about, oh, I've got this in the bag. I'm acing all of my classes. I've got this
Uh-huh.
down pat. I've had a solid intellectual conversation with one of the leading strategists at
Uh-huh.
Strategic HQ. She's like, I fucking got this. And in comes a Uyghur again.
Yeah,
Um,
she's just enjoying her coffee.
she's having a little coffee break,
Coffee.
enjoying the scenes. Um,
Hmm.
and This man has the jawline of a god. I don't know if you ever paid
Yeah,
attention to
dude,
that.
Uyghur is it's not just that Uyghur is fucking massive. He's a giant. He's super
Uyghur is a
tall.
very very big guy. Compared to
Hmm.
Tanya, he is massive.
Yeah,
I thought it was kind of
and
neat how she was sitting in the chair and her legs couldn't touch the floor.
her legs don't touch the floor. But he's yeah, that's one thing I love, and it's like another scene later on where she's given her own chair so she can actually sit properly.
Exactly, it's really funny.
um, you know, she's enjoying her coffee. Uger comes in and he asks her, "Yo, why did you join the military?" Um, and Tadia basically just feeds him like a bullshit backstory
Yeah, basically about her
of
mom and dad got it. Well, it might have actually
yeah, just
happened though,
yeah.
if we really
We
think about
don't
it, because
know,
she was in a nunnery. So
but at the same time, part of his concern is that she reminds him of his daughter, so she could be also feeding him specific things in her backstory that would play on his emotions.
basically, because she's
And
wanting
then
him to move to the back line so that he
and so
can't get in
she's
her
giving him like a
way of moving up.
yeah, yeah, she is at first it seems like no, Tanya's being like really selfish. She's like being like yeah, she's telling him to like focus more on being in the back line so he can survive. Basically, increase his chances of survival
Yeah.
for the sake of his daughter. And that's where basically as soon as he leaves, she's like, yeah, that's one less piece of competition I got to worry about.
Yeah. So
Mm-hmm.
basically, it cuts from that scene. He takes her advice. He goes to the back lines, and then it cuts to a scene of her getting promoted to the 12 Knights. Um,
Yes.
what? Oh, so basically, she's sitting there joining the 12 Knights at dinner. And basically, the 12 Knights are the 12 Knights of the strategic HQ. Um,
Yeah, they're all your
and
strategic
she's sitting there
commanders.
schmoozing them up, talking all smart, trying to.
Eating
And they give her a stack of contracts that she can sign
is
to
like, yep,
join. All cushy jobs in upper military,
yeah.
and
Here's these are jobs you could have. They're all really nice. And here's a special fifth one
just for
that
you.
just for you. That's for you. It's specifically made for you. And we're gonna have everybody but Zator leave the leave the room.
Yeah.
And then that's where basically Tanya realizes, oh, I don't actually have a choice in this matter.
Yeah, pretty much.
And
And
it is,
so it's the plan is the idea that she put forth towards the battalion, but now she has to lead it, and it fucked her
yeah.
up. It fucked her
And
whole
I
plan
forgot,
up.
and one thing I think I don't I forgot if this is the first time this appears, but the documentation of that Zator sees that has the proposal for the battalion
Uh huh.
that he would later on propose. If I remember correctly, that paper had Deus Lo Volt written on it,
It does. It
on like
does.
on the margins of it.
Uh huh.
Yeah, and so it's like almost every time, like I like that's like a little like sort of visual indication that being X is fucking with stuff.
Pretty
Is
much, because
that usually
that was
the
Latin
paper or
for
documentation? God wills it
that
is
was what it
what
was. Yeah.
this stands for. Yeah, and that's what the doctor was constantly ranting and raving about
Mm-hmm.
in the previous episode. So I like that little visual indication. It's like any piece of paper that has that phrase on it. Chances are, being X had some form of a hand
Exactly.
in
It did.
manipulating.
Uh,
Uh,
but basically,
and
she literally just got outplayed by herself. It's the funniest fucking thing.
mhm.
Being X is just constantly fucking her,
Yeah,
fucking her up, dude.
and this is where Tanya's basically everything comes back to fucking bite her.
But
However, things aren't all too bad because the tour says she can stay as harsh and callous as she needs to be able to train the battalion properly.
right, um,
But she's got to train a battalion.
basically, and it
Mm-hmm.
ends with Tanya sitting at a desk with a stack of fucking papers and
Stack of fucking
applications.
papers, and be like, "Oh man, I could take as long as I need. Nothing to worry about here. I can delay this for as long as I want."
Pretty much. And
And
here comes a familiar face.
man, fucking Pop shows up to help her with going through the applications.
And this was really kind of a neat scene of leading into episode 5.
Hmm.
The scene that I liked the most was the little montage of her failing the her applicants.
Yeah, her vetting process, which is over in episode 5. But yeah, I love the way it's set up. So like first we're not so sure what's being tested there,
Right.
which is like the people show up to where they assume like the test or the interviews being held, and there's a guy sitting there basically telling them that just go home, you're not needed,
Pretty much.
and if they leave, they fail.
Pretty much. I
And
thought that
so,
was kind of a neat way of
uh,
outsmarting the mage recruits.
mhm. And I thought at first it was gonna be like, oh no, they just have to like fight and just keep be adamant about it. But no, what it actually is that the guy sitting there is a fake construct
Dude,
that they
yeah.
have to be. They should be able to. That if they're a competent mage, they should be able to immediately detect that it's not a real commander.
Yeah, I thought that was really, really cool. That when the hologram
Hmm.
like faded out. But that brings us into basically they were showing Zator how she was training or trying to train the applicants, and basically Zator
Yeah,
said, you got to make this quicker
you
and
gotta make
easier.
you gotta make it snappy.
So I give you free range on whatever you want to do. Take any means necessary. Get them trained.
Be as
Pick them
cruel.
now.
Be as cruel as you need to be.
And that is something
And
you do
she's
not
like,
say to fucking
yeah.
Tanya. You know?
And then she's like, in that case, I could train him in a month.
Yeah, give me a month.
And the way she trains these recruits is very, very unique. And that is,
Unique is a very like
all
intense.
and very intense, like heavy emphasis on unique. And
She
it's
gives
great.
all of the applicants who arrived 36 hours to survive exploding bombshells that she's raining
Yeah,
down for
uh,
36 hours straight.
straight. Yeah, it's not just that. It's like it's a mixture of empty shells and live rounds. So some of them they'll just hit the ground, impact, and that's all good and dandy. But then there are other ones that are just straight up fucking mortars.
I want to note that as Tanya is
And
explaining this to the recruits,
it's just
Cerebrikov is running in the background, already
Swervikov.
digging a
She
hole.
she is starting to dig because she's like, oh shit, I know where this is gonna go.
Yeah, she's like, I already
she
know how this
is
is gonna happen. I'm not getting in the middle of this.
she's prepared.
Well, she's met
Um,
Tanya before. To be fair, did
she's
you
met Tanya,
just
so
put Lolly
she
Hitler
knows.
as Tanya? just
Yes, I did.
I just noticed you put that next to her name. That's so funny,
Yeah,
dude.
yeah,
Um,
man. But yeah, but everyone, they survived their 36 hours of shelling. Then they got a hike for like I forgot
48
how many
hours.
miles she said.
They have 48
48 hours.
hours
It's
to get to the. It was a back to camp, basically.
back to camp. Yeah, through fucking frigid, snowy
And
mountains
they
without any
could not,
magic.
yeah, without using any magic at all, while avoiding traps that she set for them.
Yeah.
Um,
Um.
so
Fucking private dipshit starts an avalanche.
private dipshit.
That's. Well, I mean, he is. That's what he is because he that fucker started an avalanche
So
that nearly killed everybody.
private dipshit. Basically, what happened in the scene is it clipped to them being trudging through the snow, and everybody's complaining about how horrid she is and how mean she is, and this dude's just like, she's nothing but a damn demon, and just yells it super loud in the
Yeah.
middle of a fucking
Well,
snowy mountain, and starts a big
this
ass
causes.
fucking avalanche.
Uh there are people. They're just fucking digging people in snow. One dude's fucking choking on just snow in his fucking lungs,
Yeah, and he's
and
dying, and
he's like suffocating on snow. And Tanya fucking just dislodges it by just kicking him in the back.
literally beats a
And it's
man
like
back to life.
it's it's such a smooth animation of her kicking him in the back too.
Dude, yeah, it was really neat.
I love it so because she basically just like flies in and just fucking kicks like smoothly kicks him,
Yeah, so
and he immediately coughs out the snow.
let's just keep this in mind. Tanya does not want these guys to pass because she wants to keep
Yeah,
she wants to keep this process as slow as possible. But
Hmm.
with her kicking the soldier back to life, everybody takes that and is just super adamant to finish now because they're scared of what she'll do if they try to leave.
Uh
So like they're all terrified of
uh
what she's gonna do if they try to leave.
uh but it's like she's very much expecting them, that they're gonna fucking win. And that's where what I like about these recruits, that these people that she's recruited, they have iron fucking resolve. Like
They
they
really
are
do.
they are like they after they dig everyone out, they just immediately keep on walking.
Oh yeah, it's
And she, to the point to where even Tanya's like baffled over the fact they fucking make it and has to recompose herself.
right. It's really really cool, and it cuts into her them finishing up the training, and her true
Hmm.
patriotism speech, being one with for the
Yeah.
empire, and I really loved that speech that she gave. It was really.
Oh, she gives a really good. It's really fucking good. It's a really good speech.
We're gonna leave
Um,
that for y'all to listen to. Um,
yeah.
but
But anyways, now that she's got her battalion, they have received their first order, which is another country is starting to invade, and their communications are super fucking weird because they're not encrypted.
wait, what now?
I said another country's like another after all this, the battalion is like set and like trained.
Oh yeah, yeah.
They almost nearly immediately received their first mission,
And basically,
and another.
they have to go over to the Dacian Empire.
Yeah, and the things that they noted, like I said, the things that they noted is the Dacian communications are really fucking weird because they've not encrypted their
They're
communications.
just
So
all
they're literally
open.
like, it's like private, like they're literally like announcing all of their plans over live hot comms. And
It's really fucking
they
just.
and to the point to where the strategic execution is like, is this a trap? This is like fun. No, we've never had another army do this. It's
Because
really
they're
fucking weird.
so terribly advanced. Um,
Yeah. Um,
the Dacia is super behind when it comes to
they're way
technology.
behind. They're
Um,
they're almost like old. They look almost like colonial soldiers from like the Revolution
yeah,
era.
it's really really bad.
And
How
there's like
gapped.
they have nothing but ground troops, no mages, absolutely no mages or hunters.
None at all. It's really fucking weird.
Um,
So the battalion gets their first taste of battle and they
and
fly in with their awesome fucking formation that they got going
the
on.
formation is so fucking cool. I also noted that
Dude,
because
I loved that. It looked like a
it's
bird
so
or something.
yeah, it's so satisfying to look at, and it's very satisfying to watch your battalion work because they're all super fucking synchronized and well planned.
Yeah.
There's something interesting things about her battalion that I've noted, such as one of them refers to the to how basically the Dakians are doing so terribly that one of Tanya's squad members, ends up comparing them to walking corpses, that they're basically already dead. They just don't know it yet.
Yeah, they're all grouping up together
Like,
in one like
yeah,
solid like just big ball
they're
of come
making it
fuck me. So
so easy to like hit them to the point. Or Tanya also says that they may as well just be civilians because that's how little of a threat they pose.
yeah, pretty much. And
And it's just,
she's just constantly insulting the Dacians the entire time this is
but
happening. And within one
they,
swift blow, she decides to rush straight through to the capital of Dacia.
oh no, it's their HQ that they set up.
Uh, which
But what they do decide to do is,
that was the capital.
well, yeah, yeah. Well, no, first they storm the HQ, they take those guys out, and then they go into the country and find a weapons factory.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
And
Okay. Yeah.
yeah, they go and they're like, "Oh man, the wartime laws say we gotta like announce that we're attacking just in case there's any civilians in there before we do." And one of them offers, no, fine, I'll fucking do it. Then Tanya decides to take over,
Yeah. Tanya's just
and she's
like,
like, no,
screw this. I'm
she
bored.
honors those war laws, and man, it's great.
She's basically
Take it away.
she basically goes over the intercom telling these people to evacuate in a
Yeah,
girly 14-year-old girl
and,
voice.
yeah. So it basically she makes her voice sound so childish that the people within the weapons factory
Are
just
just
play it off as a joke.
laughing. They're just joking like nothing's happening.
Because
And
they basically they think it's just, oh, a kid just got over the intercom. It's nothing to worry about. And that's where we get our first taste of war crimes.
so nobody listened to her warning to evacuate the city. So they obliterated the entire fucking capital.
Yeah, man.
They literally just blew it to fucking smithereens, and that
They
was it.
blew it. It's like the chain react. There's a shit ton of fucking explosives in this weapons factory because there's like chain reaction after chain reaction of just explosion and explosion.
Yeah, and it was
And
fucking pretty. Like the,
uh-huh.
I never thought I would say watching people die is beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
It was the
Oh
explosions and
man.
shit were really really cool and well animated, and I just loved the lighting that they used because it was nighttime when they did it, and you could see the solid, uh, the way the flames and stuff were bouncing off of people's faces. You could see it. I thought it was really really cool. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but with that, doing that, that ends their objective, and that leads us into episode 6, which this will be the last
Yeah.
episode in
For
this
part one,
for
because
part 1. This is going to be a part 2 series because there is just so
this
much to
so
cover.
it's so much to talk about, especially the episodes after this. There's so much shit going on in them.
Right. So this is going to
Like
be the last episode that we're covering in this episode, which was be part 1 of the
yeah.
2 parts. It's
Hmm.
so densely
So
compacted that we had to break it into 2 parts, even though there's only 12
uh
episodes.
huh.
So
Yeah.
the next episode that we do will also be 6 episodes. But like I said, it's
Yeah.
just there's just so much information as you can gather from what we've been talking about already. It is severely complex, and there was just too much to cover. So
Yeah.
we decided to take our time with it and break it up into 2 parts, just so we could get more
Hmm.
information out there for you guys.
So, anyways, on to episode 6. We
Yeah,
start off with a hypothesis of the basically the possibility of world wars becoming more and more likely
exactly.
as they advance.
The
Um,
So the 12
and
Knights and Strategic HQ are starting to get more worried about the future battles. Um, so the 12 Knights decide to send in. They looked at each other and be like, well, they did wipe out an entire fucking country by themselves. So why not just send in the battalion to the main heat of the battle? So that gives the battalion their next objective, which this one is a little bit more serious than the Dacians, because they get sent
mhm.
straight into the Republic, wasn't it?
um, I think the Entente
That's
Alliance
what it
is the
was. It
one.
was
Yeah,
the
yeah.
Entente
Yes, the
Alliance.
Entente. Yeah, the Entente Alliance.
So yeah,
Um, but yeah, so like they decided to use Tanya's battalion mainly because the Entente's located in a very snowy region, and Snow's a bitch.
Snow's a bitch to
Snow
fight
su-
in, dude.
Snow sucks, man.
Yeah, Snow would suck
Um,
for any soldier.
some things in this episode I really liked is that Tanya is wondering why the war hasn't been quickly won.
Oh,
And
this
she
era.
also is thinking that other countries might be providing aid to other countries.
Exactly, and that's why World War was her basically everything that she described to Zator in the Academy episode is coming to
Hmm.
fruition. So basically,
Yeah.
she predicted everything that was going to happen, and it did.
Uh,
Um,
and
and
what I like
they
is almost
shared.
all the
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry, no. I was going to say the thing I like about this is that almost every time the idea of a world war is brought up, almost all 12 Knights like laugh it off as if like, oh no, a world war can't happen. That'd be ridiculous. Why would other
Exactly.
countries provide? Why would other countries help other countries?
Yeah. Why would they do that? You
What
know.
what's what would help? Why would that help them?
Yeah.
How would that help them?
But in the own retrospect, they're looking at it as the empire is becoming way too big. They're taking way
It's
too
becoming
much
big.
territory, and they're scared of the future of what the empire might do to them. So that just,
Yeah,
with the idea of World War, that's just what other countries think about.
yeah,
Except for the U.S. U.S. didn't give a fuck. But anyway, U.S. did not care in the First World War.
yeah,
But we're not going to get into that. We're not talking about politics on this channel.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah. Anyways.
but they get sent into the Entente Alliance, and
We
basically,
cut.
go ahead, go ahead.
I said so. In the Entente Alliance, we cut to another like imperial battalion, and they're getting absolutely fucking wrecked.
Yeah, they're getting ass
Just
butthole raped, is what they're getting.
they're getting ass blasted. However, things aren't so bad because now Tanya squad has rolled in.
Yeah, because Tanya's squad rolls in, and to be fair, the episode messed with me a little bit. I thought that was Tanya's battalion at first. And I'm like,
A
damn,
battalion.
and I'm
Yeah.
and I'm like, damn, that's kind of messed up. I like they
Hmm.
went from doing really good to like, oh shit, half of them are dying. But no, it wasn't their
Yeah.
battalion. But Tanya's battalion rolls in, and basically Tanya's just like, all right, men, this is what a real battle looks like, women.
Like hell yeah.
So
And dude, I love. So one thing I fucking love is how Tanya interacts with her battalion because it's a whole lot different than how she's interacted with any other soldier so far. Like there's almost
yeah,
to a certain point where she actually almost legitimately respects her battalion.
yeah, pretty much. It's like,
Like they
um,
are.
the anime tried to make it seem like she didn't care, or not the anime, but
Yeah,
her character. She tried to make it seem to
yeah,
herself that she didn't give a crap, but that was probably the only group of people that she did care about.
yeah.
Was
Well,
her
it's
battalion.
also because they also have like super fucking big respect for her as well. Like they're like a fucking well-oiled machine with Tanya and her battalion.
Yeah, it's her baby pretty much, and I think that's why
It's
she's
her
so proud
baby.
of
It's
it.
her.
Yeah, I think that's why she's
Yeah.
so proud of it. Um,
Uh.
but basically, she told the men, and this was what I thought was funny. She said, "I don't expect any of you be stupid enough to get shot. So whoever's team kills the least amount of soldiers or finishes last."
Yeah. Yeah.
Has to fork over the celebration dinner, and they
Yeah.
all treat killing men
Hmm.
as a game.
Yeah, man. Yeah, they have competitions.
I thought
You
that
don't
was
want to
really
pay for
cool,
the, you don't want to pay for those booze, do you?
dude.
Those booze are probably expensive.
Oh, dude. Um, so at
But
this point,
um,
the bombers are coming in.
the bombers roll in,
The bombers are rolling in to
and
try to bomb the supply unit that the Empire is trying to set up
yeah,
to get moved out of the country really fast because her men are getting pushed
hmm
back. And I think this is where they start trying to send men back out of the front lines.
uh,
But Tanya's team rolls in, and so the other men are taking over the footmen on the ground and other little segments of hunters. But Tanya decides to go
hmm
straight for the bombers herself.
straight for the bombers. And one thing I like is that initially the Empire was going to send backups for to help out with the bombers, and Tanya is basically no backup won't be needed, and she goes
Yeah,
and faces the fucking bomber, an entire squad of bombers.
there was 6 bombers,
Yeah,
and she literally just gets up there. And one of the men's just like, we see one of the mages coming up on the rear, and they're like, oh, they can't be flying this high. What are they, stupid? Blah, blah, blah. And then she just keeps coming super fast, same speed. They're like, what is this? Who is this? They're freaking out. And then she just
yeah,
appears on one of the domes of the plane.
yeah.
And
She's like a fucking gremlin.
the guys are trying to shoot her, accidentally shoots one of the other bombers. And the guy's just like, hey, watch it. And she just pops up and says,
Yeah,
maybe you should learn how to shoot. And literally just kills this man. Or, no, gives him a
yeah.
present. And he said, it just happens to be my birthday. So,
hmm
how about I give
Yeah,
myself an early birthday present? Throws a stick of
yeah.
dynamite in the plane.
Into the fucking yeah,
And blows the plane up. She backs up, takes her gun out. They're all running away because they're like, oh no, we're not dealing with this. Fuck this, we're out.
what
And
the fuck?
she uses one fucking bullet and takes
Yeah,
out 4 fucking bombers with one bullet. It was
yeah.
it was insane.
Mm-hmm. One thing I like is she when she's saying the prayer to wipe out the fucking bomber squad. The she you can hear her voice. She's giving like a half spirited prayer. It's like she doesn't have as much vigor in it as her previous one. She's like, I'm tired of this praying and shit.
Oh yeah, it was very
Yeah, it's great.
half-hearted. Just blew all the planes down. She's like, oh, it's
Yeah,
whatever. But at this point, everybody's like super excited. The bombers got all took care of. 2 of them got away. Um,
yeah,
and then she drops down to the ground just to pretty much check out her handiwork, trying to make sure the men aren't still
yeah.
alive, pretty much.
hmm
And
And that's
this
when who shows up?
Big X,
Fucking being X. He fucking takes control of a body.
he takes control of a dead person. he
Yeah,
he literally has a dead man come back to life, and when he does, Tanya just no hesitation
she
swings
fucking
around, fucking blasts a dude with
she
bullets.
fucking she straight up fucking mag dumps him.
He does. She didn't care, and she's like, "Ha! What do you think about that?"
And he just gets right back up, and it's just like the body's like slightly more fucked up, but he's still talking.
um, and basically,
And he's just
and let's just put the magnitude of the situation. God brings back a dead man just to rub
yeah,
Tanya's nose in to the fact that he's fucking with her.
yeah. It's like, yo, I'm oh, but like shit's like he's like, yo, shit's getting worse. And how do you feel about having to maybe even fight the world at some point?
Oh yeah, dude. She's like,
'Cause
uh,
he is taunting the ever living shit out of her.
and she blows his fucking brains out. And at this
hmm
point, Tanya is pissed. She's pissed the fuck off. Um, so that leads into Tanya targeting the information line for, excuse me,
Very
this
good.
brings us into Tanya locking onto the information unit just out of spite.
Yeah.
Just out of spite to
She's
Guard.
good. She's like, oh man, I'm fucking tired of your bullshit, man. I'm gonna wipe out an entire comms outpost just cause.
Oh yeah, it's
Phil, Phil Cute might destroy this comms outpost later.
yeah. So it pretty
Yeah.
much the episode ended with her blowing this shit to smithereens, from
Hmm.
literally miles away. That she was so far away from this
Yeah.
unit, and it ends the episode with the next project for the battalion being introduced. Um,
What's fucking impressive is she was able to pinpoint the location of it by just hearing like the radio,
oh yeah,
like
dude.
because like their comms were still alive. Like she's so through that. I'm assuming with whatever her enhanced powers like get allows her, she's able to fucking pinpoint the location of the outpost just by hearing the radio chatter.
Oh, dude, it was crazy how good Tanya
It's
is.
fucking insane.
Uh, but it's
The
all out of spite. Everything she
it's all
did
all out of sight.
was out of spite to being X. And
Hmm.
but yeah, so but basically that's it. That's the first six
The only
episodes.
the only other notable thing that happens at the end is Sue does get a promotion.
Oh, that's right. Sue does get a promotion.
That's where it ends. Yeah.
Yeah, Sue got a promotion to lead a battalion in the next fight, and
Yes.
that's where they got introduced to. Basically, the next project for the battalion is to end the Entente alliance in a very,
Yep.
very interesting way that I'm not going to discuss in this until the next
Episode.
podcast because it's very, very good. But
So yeah, but yeah,
anyway,
that's the first six episodes.
that's it. Honestly,
Um.
I was super engulfed to this anime. It was super, super
Mhm.
good. Like, it really got me hooked with the whole military, politic, strategic uh, implementations involved. Just, I loved learning about war in school. So, like, this is right up my alley kind of situation.
Mhm.
And I'll just love the mixture of magic with warfare being used so
Yeah.
casually. It's nothing. It's nothing over dramatic. It's nothing overwhelming. It's just it just flows well with the flow of battle itself. Nobody's just super
Mhm.
impressed. It's not bombastic anime energy. It's really subtle, and I love how it plays into the dynamic effects and the coloring and the lighting of the anime as well. So, but those were
Mhm.
just my tidbits of the
Yeah.
anime that I liked. What about you, Bobsto?
Basically all the same. Like you said with with the stuff about the magic. I like how like nothing too crazy is done with the magic. It's literally like just hey, here's enhanced rifle shots. Here's a shield system. The only time when the magic gets super crazy is whenever Tanya specifically is
Yeah,
enhancing it.
pretty much. That's
But
it.
that's because she's got prayer enhanced magic.
Exactly. So
But other than that, it's
basically,
all like
it's all
it's like
team.
that.
Yeah, it's all like teamwork, strategic values, and it's really neat.
Uh huh.
It gives everybody
It's
a
all that.
sense of entitlement.
Hmm.
Um,
I really love the way the animation, the flying animation is like animated. It
yeah,
looks so nice, especially when they start like strafing and like doing fucking like flips and shit.
yeah, they did animate that
It's
very, very
so
well. It's very,
it's like the one thing I always think of when I think about the opening is a shot of them flying and Tanya doing her little like spins and whatnot.
oh, dude, it's super good.
It's
It's literally like she's being a plane in the sky.
it's it's yeah, it's that the music is super good in this series. It's like a mixture of like I don't know, like sort of like I guess she's like dramatic, like opera like sounding music
Right.
too,
Mm-hmm.
and it fits the setting very well.
Oh yeah.
Um, Other than that, I I really enjoyed it back when I watched it in 2017. But watching it again, I remember why I loved it so much. But other than that, I'm super excited to talk about the rest of this series in our next episode.
Yeah. So
But
if y'all enjoyed
other than
this,
that, I guess we'll
yeah, if y'all enjoyed the
yeah.
part one, please join us for part two. And we're gonna leave it at
Uh,
this. Bob So, take it away.
yeah. I'm Bob so the Elder Weeb,
And I am Red, the bald-headed wonder.
and you just watched the Anime
Anime
Boys.
boys, join
Anime
us.
Boys.
Woo! So, please join us for part two,
Yeah.
and y'all have a nice day.